Hey, welcome back everyone. Johnny B here with devslopes.com, and in this lesson we are going to continue on our way with our Smack app, and we are going to finally do that cool generate background color on the avatar image right here. All right, so let's get to it. First thing right here in our variables, we are going to add a new one called BG color. Okay, and so this is going to be an optional UI color. All right, and so this is just going to be to kind of help us keep track of whether or not we have set a background color, and also hold the randomly generated color that we're going to create. So I think we doesn't look like we have, oh yes we do, pick background color pressed. All right, so we already got our action here. So what do we need to do? What we are going to do is we are going to create a randomly generated UI color. And so what did we call that? Background color. So if I say background color is equal to UI color, and then we use an initializer, you can see that we have a number of color initializers here. We're going to be working with this one right here, the red, green, blue, alpha. Okay, and so what we're going to do is we're going to randomly generate an R, G, and B value, and then we're just going to create it. All right, so pretty straightforward. So what we're going to do is we're going to say let R for the red, and we're going to create a randomly generated number. So we're going to say arc for random, and let's see here, we want this one right here. And so we're going to put in a upper bound. And so these colors, or these values for RG and B, its value is a number between 1 and 255, and then divided by 255, normalized to that number. Okay, so we're going to say 255, and then we need to divide that by 255. But these also need to be a CG float. Okay, so I'm going to write CG float, and then I'm just going to wrap that in here, this CG float right here. All right, so we're creating a CG float, randomly generated number between 0 and 255, the upper bound being 255, and then we're going to divide that by 255. All right, so, and we are just going to do that with R, G, and B. So R, G, and B, change this to G, change this to B, B. And then alpha is just going to be 1. We don't really need a variable for that. So we're going to create that background color from those values now. So we're going to say background color is equal to UI color. And that's going to be this guy right here. So the red is R, the green is G, and the blue is B. And the alpha is just 1, meaning we want it to be not transparent at all. All right, so then we can say self.userImage.background color is equal to BG color, and that should actually do it. So let's go ahead and try that out. I'm gonna run it. All right, opening it up, going to log in and create account, and I'm going to choose an avatar. Let's say this elephant here, and then we're gonna say generate background color. Hey, there we go. Pretty cool, huh? We got a square here, so that doesn't look quite like what we wanted. Also, did you notice that if we select one of these light ones, hold on, let me just close this, jump back in. So if we selected a light one, it's kind of hard to tell. So I'm thinking up here in the view did appear, we're just going to do a check on that. So we're going to say if the avatar name contains, so you can say dot contains, and so what we're going to do is we're going to do a search for a string, and we're just going to see if it contains the word light, in which case it is one of the light ones. And then we're also going to do a check to see if background color is equal to nil. And if so, then we're going to set the user image background color equal to a light gray color. So we're going to say UI color dot light gray. Okay, so what we're doing is we're saying if we go here for the first time and we haven't selected a background color yet and we have chosen a light one, we're going to set a light gray background color so that the white or the light avatar kind of pops out. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that and save that and run it one more time. All right, opening up here, let's go in, and so I'm going to choose a light colored avatar, and there we go. So now we are setting the background color to a light if we have not yet chosen a background color. So now we have created and chosen a background color. So if I choose another light one, it should still stay pink. Yeah, there we go. All right, cool. So that's good. Let's fix this square. Let's make that rounded. And we could do that here in our view controller, but remember it's better practice to subclass that into a view. So what we're gonna do is very similar to our rounded button subclass. We are just going to create a circle image subclass. So I'm gonna click right here on view and say new file. And that's a Cocoa Touch class. We are going to subclass of UI image view. And we're going to call this circle image. Okay, I'm going to say next and create. I'm just going to delete this. And just like we did with the rounded rectangle, or rounded button, I should say, we're going to say @IB designable so that we can see the results inside of Storyboard. And then we don't need any IB inspectables because we're not going to be changing anything in Storyboard. What this circle image subclass is going to do is just make everything that it is applied to a circle. Okay, so we're going to say awake from nib, and in here we are going to put a setup function view. So I'm going to say setup view, and what we're going to do, forgot the function, func, there we go, func setup view. And what are we going to do? We're just going to make it round. So to do that, we just got to say self.layer dot corner radius is equal to, and then we're just going to say self.frame dot width divided by 2. So if you give it a corner radius of half of its width, assuming that it's a square, then it's going to be a perfect circle. Okay, and then we need to say self.collapse to bounds is equal to true. If you click on Clips to Bounds, you get a better description. It says a Boolean value that determines whether subviews are confined to the bounds of the view. Okay, and lastly, we need our prepare for interface builder function. We're going to call super.prepare interface builder, and then we're going to call our setup view function also. And here in awake from nib as well. So setup view here as well. All right, so that looks good. Just to recap, when we awake from nib or when we're prepared for interface builder, we call setup view, in which we simply do a full rounding of the image view based on its width. Okay, so I'm going to save that, and let's go ahead and run that again and see how that looks. Oh wait, stop. We need to apply it to our images. All right, so we got a couple of images that we want to be round. Here's one in our create account. Make sure you have the actual image selected though, and go to its identity inspector and set this to circle image. And then over here as well, in the menu profile image, we're going to set this to circle image also. All right, and then we're going to run it. Okay, so let's go ahead and open it up. Check out don't have an account. Choose avatar. Let's pick the spider here, and let's go ahead and generate a background color. There we go. Hey. And then if we pick a light one, let's say the octopus here, looks pretty cool. I think we can make this, when we click on this, make this look a little bit nicer. Right now it's just like boom, different color, boom, different color. Let's go ahead and add a little bit of an animation there, I think. So we're going to jump back into create account VC, and here, let's see, where is our, okay, right here, pick background color pressed. All right, so here we can say UI view dot animate with duration, and we don't actually need this second part right here. So just with duration, and we're going to say 0.2, I think seconds will be good. And then we're going to do our opening and closing curly braces. And we're just going to drop this guy in right here. And I think I need a self right here for this background color. So basically here we're just creating a very simple animation. We're setting the duration, meaning the length of the animation period. And we are just changing the background color. So let's see how that looks. All right, opening it up, login, don't have an account, choose an avatar, let's get right here, and generate background color, and look at that. Now we got a nice little fade animation between the colors, so that looks really good. I like that one right there. All right, so what's next? If we check out our, let's see here, do I have my mockups open? Okay, so we're gonna try and finish up the create account VC in this video. So one of the things that we need to do is, if you see here, these placeholder text colors are different, right? So let's go ahead and see if we can fix that. And surprisingly, that's not something that you can fix in Interface Builder. You have to actually do this programmatically, okay? So let's do it. I'm gonna come down here to the bottom and create a new function called setup view. So setup view. Okay, and so what we have to do is we need to actually use attributed text to set the font color for this. And so to do that, we're going to create a new constant. So we're going to jump over here to our constants file, and I'm going to create a new little header here for colors. And I'm going to say let smack purple placeholder equal, and I'm going to do a color literal. Come on, color literal. And the recently used, make sure you got your purple one here, and actually do, let's see if we can do other, and then we're going to drop the opacity here to 50%. And there we have our new color. All right, so that's our placeholder color. So I'm going to save that and jump back into create account VC. So to set the font color of the placeholder, what we got to do is we got to say username text dot attributed placeholder. And so this says the styled string that is displayed when there is no other text in the text field. And we're going to set that equal to an NS attributed string. And we're going to initialize that with, let's see here, string and attributes. Okay, so the string for the username, that's just, whoops, username. And then the attributes, if we click here on attributes, it says the attributes for the new attributed string. All right, so what do we want to do? We want to change the color of it. So I'm going to do open close square brackets, and we're going to say ns attributed string key, and the key that we want is foreground color. Okay, and the value for that is our smack purple placeholder. Okay, so if we save that and run it, let's make sure that works. All right, I'm gonna click here, log in into here, and that did not work because once again I forgot to call the function that we just created. All right, back up to view to load and say setup view. All right, run that again. All right, I'm gonna click here into the create account. There we go. So now we have our placeholder text color that we actually want. So let's go ahead and do that for the other two in here. So I'm going to say copy and paste and paste. And this one here is going to be the email text. And the string username is going to be just email, or the string for the placeholder. And then this guy right here is going to be pass text. And its placeholder text is password. Alrighty, and that should do it. We're gonna build, make sure that error goes away. All right, so let's go ahead and run this and make sure those look good. All right, we're gonna open this up And let's actually create a new user this time. All right, so I'm going to choose an avatar. How about a porcupine, I think that is, maybe? All right, we're going to call him Porky. And email is porky@pork.com. And the password is 123456. Going to generate a background color. And that one looks good. And we're going to create account, okay? So you'll notice that after I clicked on this, there's no indication to the user that anything is happening. And especially if you are waiting for your server to come back alive, if you're still on the free tier, then that could be very troubling to the user. They might click it again, and then you might have some issues. So let's go ahead and throw an activity indicator in our screen right here. So I'm going to jump into main.storyboard. And you'll see the one that just popped up. That's what we're going to do. All right, so here in our create an account, I'm going to search for activity. Spelled that wrong. Activity indicator. I'm just going to drop this right here. Here in the attributes inspector, change the style to large and white. And then we're going to change the color here to our purple. All right, that looks good. And then I'm going to give it constraints of horizontally and vertically in container. And that looks kind of right over the face. Let's move it up a little bit. So if you go to our size inspector and come here to your constraints, you can actually give offsets on your constraints. So here align center to Y. If you say -100, it's centered but shifted up the amount that you put in here. All right, so I think that'll look good. And we need to have an IB outlet for it. So I'm going to hold Option and click on Create Account VC. And then we got to find it again. Let's see here. Yeah, right here. All right, so outlets. I'm just going to, oopsie, not that. Make sure you got your spinner selected. I'm going to control drag from over here. I'm going to call this spinner. Okay, so now we have an outlet for it. Let's jump back into our create account vc.swift file. And we're going to start out with it hidden. All right, so down here in our setup view function, I'm going to say spinner .is hidden is equal to true. Whoops, true. And I'm just going to clean this up real quick. Okay, so it starts out hidden. When do we want it to show? We want it to show right when we click on the create account button. So I'm going to say spinner .is hidden is equal to false. And then to start it spinning, all we got to do is say spinner .start animating. And then it'll show and start animating. Then we want it to disappear if everything is successful. So I'm going to get rid of this print statement here, and we're going to say spinner .is hidden is equal to true, and spinner .stop animating. And that's about as easy as it is to add a progress indicator. So I'm going to run this again. Oh, we need self because we are in a closure. There we go. I'm going to run that. All right, jump into here, login VC. All right, so here's our create an account VC. So I'm going to again choose an avatar, make it a shark, generate background color. That one looks good. This is going to be Shark Boy. And his email is at shark@me.com. And then the password, but this time I'm going to toggle the software keyboard. And to do that, it's Command K. I'm going to put in my password. And then, I can't create an account, can I? The keyboard is covering it. So we're going to fix that here in just 1 second. But to make sure that our spinner is working, I'm going to click Create Account. And hey, there we go. There's our spinner. And it's going to spin until the create account process is over. Then it disappears. All right, very nice. Okay, so let's fix that problem where we can't click on the create account button when the keyboard is up. All right, so most of the time, what we're used to is just being able to tap off of the keyboard and making the keyboard disappear, right? So how do we do that? Well, it's pretty easy. All we got to do is here in view did load, we're going to add a tap gesture recognizer. In fact, let's do that in setup view since we already have it. So what we're going to do is we're going to say let tap equal, and this is going to be a UI tap gesture recognizer. And we're going to set its target and its action. So the target is self, and the action is a function that we need to create first. So right here, we're going to say func handle tap, and what we're going to do is we're just going to say view.end editing, and we're going to say true. And what this does is this just causes the view or one of its embedded text fields to resign the first responder status, meaning if we have a keyboard open and we tap, then it's just going to dismiss that keyboard for us, okay? So then here in the action selector, we just need to say hashtag selector, and then we're going to say create account vc dot handle tap. And then we're probably going to get this error because new with Swift 4, the syntax for an argument of selector refers to an instance method handle tap that is not exposed to Objective-C. Add Objective-C to expose this instance method to Objective-C. And if you just click on fix, then it adds at Objective-C to our handle tap function. So in Swift 3, I think it was implicitly implied that these were exposed to Objective-C handles, but now in Swift 4, we're just explicitly saying this is a function that's exposed to Objective-C. All right, so we've created our tap gesture recognizer. Now we need to just assign it to the view. So we're going to say view.add gesture recognizer, and the view that we are adding is tap. All right, so that looks good. Let's save that and run it, and let's make sure that's working. All right, click in here, log in, don't have an account, and let's click on the username, toggle the software keyboard if it's not coming up, and then I'm just gonna click over here, and boom, disappears. All right, perfect, very nice. All right, and that pretty much takes care of everything in our create account view controller. The only thing left is what happens when we create an account. You know, right now we send off the call to the API, but you know, we don't know what to do after we create an account. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a notification using Notification Center. And what Notification Center is like, I like to compare it to kind of a radio station. You have notification posts, and that's kind of just like blasting out in all directions to all classes that we have created a notification. And to be able to receive and know what to do with these notifications, you need to be tuned in to that specific channel. All right, so what we're going to do right now is we're just going to create the post for the notification. We're just going to create the blasting out of the information that says, hey, we have created an account, we have changed some stuff up. All right, and we're going to create a reusable notification that's going to be useful called user data did change. And so what that means is either we've created an account, we've logged in, or even that we've logged out. Those are kind of the main scenarios that's going to be covered under the use of this notification. So let's create the notification name. So jump into constants. I'm just going to do it here under colors. I'm going to say notification constants. And we're going to say let notif underscore user data did change. Okay, and this is going to be a notification dot name, and that is just going to be called notif user data changed. Okay, so this is just creating the name of the notification. And then we're going to jump back into create account VC, and after the create account button is pressed and everything is successful, we are going to post this notification, basically just sending out the notification saying, hey, world, we have successfully logged in or logged out or created a user. Do with that information what you will. All right, so we're going to say notification center.default.post. All right, and so what we need right here is this one right here. And the notification name is the constant that we just created. So notif user data did change, and we're not sending any object with the notification, so this can be nil. All right, so I'm going to save that. And we won't be, right now we can't tell that this works because we don't have any other classes that are tuned into this particular notification. But that right there completes our create account VC. So now in the next videos, what we can actually do with this notification is we'll know when the user has been created, and when it gets dismissed, we can have that notification here in our channel VC, and then we can do things like update the profile image. We can update the login button to, instead of saying login, show the actual user's name. All right, so that's the reason for this notification. And yeah, so we're making great progress, guys. Hope you are really having fun. I really like let's see, do we still have it here? This is one of my favorite things, is the avatar picker and the generating the background color. I just think it's super cool. So I hope you guys are having fun. I know that I am. And just to finish off real quick, we're gonna commit and add our changes, and then we will see you in the next one.